Hey, what's up, guys? It's MLG. So today I want to talk about tables. Um, there is something to be said about random tables in RPGs, and I just don't know where to start. When you are a GM, or as well when you are a player. Um, we all have encountered fiat, or just like some people call it creativity as well, where there's a decision to be made um, about a location, about a body part, about loot, anything like that. And what's interesting is when you have the opportunity. What I like personally with tables is when you have the opportunity to be surprised. Now, what's fun, for some reason, and some people are just like that. Like some players are like that, some GM are like that. It's not to be responsible for what is to be. For just give you some examples, like when you have a game that allows you to have provide you with lots of tables, it's fun to utilize. It's already there, they've been created for you. So when you are GM, you can kind of like take away the pressure of creating something in the spur of the moment just by rolling on the table. And it does so many things. Like, it's not just because you don't want to be creative or you don't want to think about something. It's also because it takes away the responsibility. It's like the game has spoken. You encounter a dragon, or you encounter a wyvern, or you encounter a goblin, or you encounter whatever, right? You walk into the forest, you have an encounter table, you roll the dice on the encounter table, boom, it tells you what you meet, what's happening. And there is a fun into that. There is something to be said about that is very special. It's like when you're a GM and you have the opportunity to utilize tables, you take away that responsibility, take away that pressure from your shoulder, and it allows you to be surprised, just like the player is surprised. So it's becoming like a very interesting situation where the GM and the players are surprised together of what's happening. But when you're GMing and you're creating things, and you create all these random encounters, and you create all this loot, and you create all this stuff, you're not surprised, you create it yourself. So it takes away that part, that fun for the GM. Random tables is also fun for the GM. That's what it's interesting. It's like you look at the player before rolling the dice, and you're like, what's gonna happen? We just don't know together what's gonna happen. You roll, and then boom, now it's like, whoa, we're gonna have to deal with that, right? That's really fun. That's really interesting. When you are a player, the random tables do something else that's really interesting. When you're a player, the random tables provide you with reinsurance that the GM is not, fiating you in such a way, or trying to rob you of something, or that the GM is not trying to push an agenda or something. So as a player, it's a security. It's like when you know that it's random, that it's been generated by the table, you know that it's the game that provided you with, not an arbitrary decision by another human being. So it's becoming that's very interesting thing where, like, when you have a game that provided you with all the tables that you need, it's amazing, because now you know that by design the choices in these tables is the choice that the designer wanted you to go to have, right, to fall into. So it's super fun. So every time you have to randomize something, you know that it's been play tested, it's been created, it's been for the genre or stuff like that. But sometimes you have games that tells you that you kind of need to do your own random table. Like when I play BRP, for example, I like to create my own random tables just to make sure that I don't have to have a decision by myself, like, just because I like to randomize stuff. And and charts as well are great. Like if you look at the kind of chart you have in BRP, the resistance table, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's just it's like you or the charts that you have in Genesis and in BRP is kind of like the same, where for the fight, depending on the way you manage to dodge, or the way you manage to hit, is gonna give you, here's what happened in the fight. That's amazing. So you can rely on the game to be consistent, because utilizing these charts is going to provide you with similar responses, not stuff that sometimes it's too much or sometimes it's too low, or it's just going to provide you with similar stuff that's going to help you create a consistency in the game as well. I think that charts and tables are a great randomizer, and also a great fun for creating pressure, creating surprise, and creating all sorts of very fun moment around the table, because nobody knows, not even the GM. And when you are a player, there is some kind of a satisfaction there as well, to know that the GM is going to have to deal with that as well. It's kind of fun. You're like, okay, what you going to do with that? What are you going to do with this situation that you are stuck with now? You have the players that come into the woods, and now you have to deal with a dragon. What you going to do with that? So as a player, sometimes you can sit and look at the GM and be like, hey, so show me what you're gonna do with that, right? So it's very interesting. But some people, for some reason, don't appreciate tables, because sometimes table can slow down a little bit, because you have to go look at the table, you have to look at the the results on the chart. Some people prefer games that are that don't have a random table, don't have random, prefer having a more like a creative stuff that just come out of the GM. I guess it will always depend on taste, obviously, but I think role-playing games, like if you look at, especially if you look at these older games, old school games, they were full of those tables, full of those charts. And it seems to me like at the beginning of this hobby, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's just an intuition that I have that is misplaced, but it seems to me like at the beginning of this hobby, it was kind of understood that we should randomize that. We should have tables for what do you find in that box? What do you find in those woods? What to generate locations, to generate like random generators. And it seems like it's been part of the hobby since the beginning, and it's kind of like something that we should consider. And I kind of even the new games, sometimes they bring them back. I played Mythic Bastionland recently, which is a fairly recent game, and there was some randomizer stuff in it that recreated that feel. It's always satisfying. And obviously you can always, what's fun also with the tables is in random tables or random generators or these kinds of tables, is that you can always create yourself some, and you can use them with any games basically. The players are going somewhere. Let's randomize, let's have a table, so what they're gonna meet there upon arrival. The player find a market. Let's randomize, like, what is it to sell there. Let's not base it on the GM's fiat. Let's just randomize. Okay, here's what you can find there. You can also have tables for reactions. Okay, so you meet these NPCs there. You meet these NPCs. Let's randomize how they feel about you right now. Are they scared? Are they angry? Are they? And so you can have these tables that can be applied to any games. It's if the game doesn't provide them for you, like BRP doesn't provide all that. They provide the one for the mechanics, but they don't provide random tables for for the sake of it. So you create your random tables, and then you can play with them. It's not you can still play raw. You can still play raw and have those, right? Because it's not like an house rule or something. It's just, it's not like an house rule or something that you change completely the rules in the game. It's just an approach. It's an ethos. It's an ethos to role play. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know. I'd like to know in the comment section if it resonates with you, what you think about tables and random encounters and randomizing through charts and tables the stuff that happens and that is available, and that to take away the fiat aspect, or to take away not to take away creativity, but to take away the responsibility, as a player, or even as a GM, as a GM, or even as a player, about what's there's gonna be, right? Anyway, let me know what you think about that. Do you use table? How do you use them? And do you like it? Any good example of games that utilize it well? Let me know.